Did you have a time, like, was there ever a moment in your life where the light bulb went on and maybe a mentor said something to you, or there was a certain phrase that was said to you that ever happened that kind of, boom,
I'll
juiced
tell
you?
you exactly. When I got to Wall Street after college, simultaneously, I stumbled upon neurolinguistic programming, or NLP. And I started to go down the rabbit hole of, wait a minute, just because I'm like this doesn't mean I have to stay like that. I could change like my thoughts. I could change what I associate pain and pleasure to. I can develop confidence. It's a skill. You don't have to be born with it. And so once I stumbled upon that stuff, it was like you just said, boom, like being unplugged from the matrix, so to speak. I was like, oh my goodness. And I never looked back. I just didn't find my calling until 10 years later when the pandemic happened, and it provided me an opportunity to figure out what I really love, which is this stuff. But I did use it, to build businesses and run marathons and all that stuff, and also form relationships. But it was that moment after college, ironically enough, or maybe not, when I stumbled upon the self-help stuff, the Tony Robbins of the world, just like you, when I was just, oh my goodness.
Yeah, you just brought me back like 25 years right now, man. Boom, I just went, like, as you're talking, I just went boom back 25 years.
Good.
And that was, and the only thing I kept thinking about right now, I remember going through Anthony Robbins' 30-day program on cassette tape in my mom's house, my mom and dad's house, living in the converted attic above the kitchen. And and you just took me back, and I remember thinking, why doesn't everybody learn this? Why are they not teaching this to kindergartners? Why is this not being taught to fifth graders? And why is it that we don't, as a society, all acknowledge that our brains are just computers? I mean, it's just it's a powerful, powerful computer. And we can take a program, just like the movie The Matrix, and we can insert information. Maybe we can't learn karate that fast, but we can insert information, right? And then all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, because I listen to audiobooks, throughout the years. And I listened to them while I sleep, though. I would listen to them before I went to bed. And then all of a sudden I would, 3 weeks later, I would say something. I'd be like, where'd that come from? What was that? And it was because I was programming my subconscious mind, to get all the things that I wanted to get.
100% agree with every single word. And I look, a lot of synergies here today. I do the same stuff. I listen that I embody that stuff into my subconscious while I sleep. And it's so true. Like the reference to the Matrix, like literally, if you're conditioned to a certain way, that's it. So, okay, so let's take that belief, goodbye, and let's take new information and implement that. And then all of a sudden we have a new perspective on what we thought we couldn't do. And then everything changes. I mean, I used it to run marathons when I never ran before, and that's a physical thing. So defying the laws of gravity, there's literally nothing that we can't do once we're aware. And just to come full circle, use that word early in the conversation. Once we're mindful and aware that we have a choice to implement information or more empowering thoughts, and that changes everything. And that's how you get in those frequencies and you vibrate, and the universe works for us, not against us. Love all this.
It's so cool because, when you're on the right frequency, and when you're on the wrong frequency. And so definitely. That's why we get aligned. Sometimes we're talking to somebody, having a conversation with somebody, and all of a sudden, you go, I don't get a good feeling here. And it's just that we're just on different frequencies, different vibrations. And that's okay. That can change though, because when we become aware that there are frequencies and we are just energy, when we become aware of that stuff, then we go, oh my God, the light bulb goes off. I could actually change. I don't have to be like I was when I was 18 years old. I don't have to allow that childhood trauma to ruin the rest of my life, because I can change. I have that ability to change. Is that what you kind of teach in your programs?
Brother, this is dynamite. I couldn't agree more. Just because something happened to us and it's kept us in shackles, right? That's our choice. We're looking at it as if it has power over us. We can let go of that power. We can change a different belief towards it. And essentially we can remove the shackle, so to speak. So all of this stuff really hits home to me. We have a choice on what frequency we want to tap into, but we can only utilize that to do good in this world once we become aware that we have that choice. So, and I want the audience to let this resonate. If you're ever having a crappy day or you're not yourself, it does not have to stay that way. You can become aware that a thought has caused this belief, which has changed your emotional state. And if you work backwards and reverse engineer it, okay, so if I'm feeling lousy, let's implement a better thought, and that'll change our state and we'll be elevated instead of deflated, so to speak. So you're hitting on all the things, brother. Like I said, the only negative we got going on is we don't have 10 hours for this stuff. This is just gold.
I'm excited, man. Last question, man. Last question.
Sure.
I mean, you know, what are some of your favorite books that you could recommend that really revolutionized your thinking, that we could kind of maybe, you know, go out there and maybe search for some of these books? Because you have the right thinking, Craig, and you are the right kind of person that you're going to change so many lives. You've already changed a lot of lives, but I mean, you are on a trajectory for total dominance, man. So how do we become like you, man?
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that. I receive and I acknowledge all that. And I love your vibe as well. I feel this just the beginning of the relationship. In regards to books, look, everyone knows Think and Grow Rich, right? But here's the thing. Depending upon when you read a certain book in your life, which season you're in, you can have a completely different experience, right? I've read books and then reread them 7 years later. And I was like, oh my goodness, that just hit differently. Right. So, for example, The Secret, and we were talking about John Assaraf earlier, who we both had on the podcast. That book, right, it is eye-opening stuff, but you really have to focus and understand what they're telling us. Like, they're not saying just sit here and pray that you have a Lamborghini in your driveway and it shows up. They talk about being so in control and deliberate with your thoughts that sets off an electrical signal or a frequency. And then you start working towards those manifestations and they come to fruition. So books like that have made a major impact. Think and Grow Rich, obviously a classic. This one's a little bit deeper, maybe even controversial, but I'm a fan. The 48 Laws of Power basically talks about all the conquerors and the greats from the past, from thousands of years ago. What tactics and strategies did they use? I think it's pretty fascinating stuff. The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Peale. Love that one as well. I love to read. I'm reading a different book every single week, if I'm being honest. Love to hear one of your favorites.
Man, well, I was going to say that 48 Laws of Power is one of my favorite all-time books, but
buddy, just when we could be more aligned, this is crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm not even kidding, because, and I'm laughing in my mind when you said that, because I'm thinking nobody has ever said 48 Laws of Power. And I'm like, that's one of my all-time favorite books. I mean, it's really deep. I mean, I'm a big, I like, Robert Greene a lot, and Malcolm Gladwell, like a lot of his stuff. But I'm come on, let's be honest, man. I mean, the Think and Grow Rich changed my life. The How to Win Friends and Influence People changed my life. The Anthony Robbins Awaken Giant Within changed my life. And so, all the John Maxwell books changed my life. David Meltzer, his book is freaking just insane good. And so I've been a sponge for all these years. I believe, though, that progress equals happiness. So it's easy for me, like, because I want to be happy, right? We get up in the morning. That's what we all want. Ultimately, we think money's going to bring us happiness. We believe going on the vacation is going to bring us happiness. We all are trying to get to happiness. And I can be happy. You know how I can be happy? As long as I'm making progress. I just want to make progress. I just want to get better. I just want to improve. I want to help other people improve. That makes me happy too. So it's easy to get the things that you want in your life if you're always thinking that progress is going to get you that happiness. And then if you enjoy the moment, enjoy the company, and enjoy the conversations, man, life is so cool.
Thank you for watching our short clips on Alonzo Academy. If you'd like to watch the next short clip, click here. If you'd like to watch the entire podcast, click here.